placeholder there. And it's a 2 by 2 because each variable has 2 levels. So 2, hours, 1, or 5 by 2, program, PBS, or reality. And then our possible effects. Like I said, we have a possible effect of main effect 1, so main effect of hours, main effect of program, so each variable has its own main effect, and our third possible effect is an interaction of hours by program. And you always want to describe the direction when you're describing an effect. So if I say, was there a main effect, and you just say yes, that's only half the answer. You have to say yes, and what is the direction? So main effect of hours, was it the more hours, the less social awareness, the more hours, the more social awareness? What direction is that effect in? So here's our data. I took this straight from the assignment sheet. Now the numbers inside the cells are social awareness as measured on a 0 to 100 scale. So the higher the numbers, the higher the social awareness. So we have PBS TV viewing, reality TV viewing, and then 1 hour of TV, 5 hours of TV. So for example, those who watch PBS for 5 hours had a social awareness of 90, and those who watch reality TV for 1 hour had a social awareness of 50. Our marginal means right here are means across. So the marginal means of PBS viewing, 50 plus 90 is 70. The marginal means of reality TV viewing, 50 plus 10 divided by 2, I missed that, is 30. And then here's our marginal means for hours. So averaging across type of program, 1 hour of TV resulted in a social awareness of 50. 5 hours resulted in a social awareness of 50 as well. So step 1 is to calculate the marginal means. We already did this, and I think it's done for you on that sheet. Step 2 is to graph. Now I want to go over some reminders before we graph. We are not graphing the marginal means. We just use the marginal means to determine if there's a main effect, which I'll show you in a second, but the marginal means do not get graphed. What we do get graphed is the dependent variable, which is the amount of social awareness, which is what's in these boxes here. So not the marginal means, not these. Can I draw? Oh my God. Wow. Okay, so not these marginal means. What we're drawing, or what we're graphing are these. Wow, guys, this is a great discovery. I'm so excited. All right. So the DV is represented on the y-axis, and one of the independent variables goes on the x-axis, and the other is represented by lines and in the legend. So you'll see what I mean on this next page. So here we have our graph. On the x-axis, we have one of the independent variables, which is hours. 1 hour. I cannot believe I can draw on this, you guys. This is crazy. This is the x-axis, so we have 1 hour by 5 hours. On the y-axis, we have social awareness, which is 0 to 10, or 0 to 100, I'm sorry. I am just, oh my God, so cool. And then in our legend here, we have type of program. So this is our other independent variable. PBS, red line, reality, green line. So let's go ahead and graph now that I have a pen. So let's start with our green, reality. So we have reality TV at 1 hour of TV is 50. So reality TV at 1 hour is 50. It's like right in the middle here. And then reality TV at 5 hours is 10. So it goes way down to here. We can go ahead and connect it with a line. And then, let's change my pen to red. We have PBS, which again is red, at 5 hours is 90. Or let's do 1 hour. At 1 hour is 50. So it's the same dot here. And at 5 hours, it's 90. Way up here. Let's connect those. So this is what our graph looks like. And that's our first step in graphing. Next, the third step is using the graph and the marginal means, answer if there are main effects. So main effects, we can have one for IV1 and IV2, so we'll go over each of those separately. First, is there a main effect of hours? In other words, regardless of type of TV, does the hours of TV affect social awareness? So you can, one, answer this using marginal means, So if we look at the marginal means, we have to determine if they're different. So let's go back. So marginal means of hours, 50 versus 50. Those are not different. Those are exactly the same. 50 versus 50, so no. So it does not look like we have a main effect. We could also answer this using the graph. So we'd look at if the average of 1 hour is different from the average of 5 hours, which is the same thing as marginal means. It's just a different way of looking at it. So, oh, my graph is gone. That's sad. Let's see. All right, so we'll just look at the marginal means for now. If you wanted to look at the average, I can just redraw it real quick. PBS was 50/90, and then reality was 50/10. All right, so we want to look at the average of hours. Here's 1 hour, and here's our average right here. Because 1 hour, the only thing we have is 50. They're both 50. And then the average of 5 hours, you just look at the midpoint between these two lines. Here's our PBS and reality points. If we look at the midpoint between them, it also looks to be about 50. Again, it's easier to look at marginal means because they'll just tell you that, but you can visualize it on the graph as well. So, answer this using the graph. Is the average of 1 hour different from the average of 5? Both of those answers are no, so we can conclude that no, there is no main effect of hours. Secondly, let me go back to my laser pointer. We need to look at if there's a main effect of type of TV. In other words, regardless of hours, does the type of TV affect social awareness? We can answer this using marginal means, so we'll look at the marginal means of hours. Oh, that's supposed to say type of TV. Let me change that. There we go. So we will answer this using marginal means. Look at the marginal means of type of TV. Are they different? So I said 70 versus 30, but let's just look back at the graph. So this is type of TV. Their marginal means are across. 70 versus 30. Those seem very different. So it seems like we have a main effect there. We could also answer this using the graph. Is the average of 1 hour different from the average of 5 hours? Let me redraw this really quick. So it's a red right now. So PBS goes from 50 to 90. And then reality goes from 50 to 10, if I remember correctly. 50 to 10. So if we want to look at the main effect of type of program using the graph, we'd look at the average of the two graphs. So the average of PBS, this red line, would be right in the center of the line. The center of the line looks to be right about there. Same for reality. The center of the line seems to be right about there. Regardless, those two look pretty different. And from the marginal means, we can tell they are 50 or 70 versus 30. So again, main effect is way easier to look at the table and the marginal means, but you can look at the graph as well. So that was main effect of type of TV. And our fourth step, using the graph and the marginal means, answer if there is an interaction. This is the trickiest part, but we're going to go through it slowly. So first we need to remember that an interaction means that one variable's effect on the dependent variable depends on another variable. The effect of IV1 depends on IV2. If the lines are not parallel, you have an interaction. That's how you can tell from the graph. If the lines are parallel, meaning that they're never going to touch each other, you don't have an interaction. If they're not parallel, you do have an interaction. So from the looks of our graph, we do have a significant interaction. But what does that mean? Our graph, the lines were not parallel. They were touching each other. So let's see what that means. So yes, we have an interaction, but we need to interpret it. So step 5, let's interpret the interaction. Let's recall the question of an interaction. Does the effect of IV1 on DV depend on IV2? Plugging in our variables, we can ask, does the effect of hours of TV on social awareness depend on type of program watched? There was an interaction because of the non-parallel line, so we can say yes, the effect of hours of TV on social awareness depends on the type of program watched. But we need to interpret that a little bit further. So here's our graph. This is a cleaner version that I made before starting this lecture. Let me get my laser pointer out. So we have 1 hour, 5 hours, PBS, reality,